Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my backyard. It's a beautiful October day here in Minnesota, so figured we'd spend some time outside today and start working through some of this stuff because this pile just keeps getting bigger and bigger and I'm not doing enough to kind of tame it back just a little bit. So today I think we'll do some kind of smaller stuff. So I have these logs over here that I picked up last week. These are all from around here. These are from my new neighbors. So in the pile here, I have 3 pieces of white oak, this one, and this one. And then I have these 2 sections of ash. These are from my neighbor across the street, and these are from my neighbor kind of down the road a little bit. You know, all this stuff is less than like 1/8 of a mile from here, which is, it's kind of fun. So as you can see, this piece of white oak has some iron staining in it, so we'll find some metal for sure. You know, some metal. This was probably like a tree house or something at some point. So this is all from one tree, and then this was one tree. This is 2 10-foot logs from the trunk that was cut in half because it was 20 feet long going down the road, across the road would be pretty ridiculous. So I cut it in half. So both of these trees came down in a windstorm we had maybe about a month ago or so, and they are, you know, they're still pretty fresh, so I kind of want to get them out of the way and sawn so I can get back to some of the bigger stuff. So if I have to move them once, I might as well just move them and put them on the saw. This one still has its tag from back in the day. So I think we're going to do these chunks of white oak first because they're kind of small, and then we'll come back and grab the ash logs. So now we take a little bit of a better look at these things. So this first one here is obviously a crotch section. It's about 6.5 feet long. You know, it's probably about 16 inches in diameter, maybe a little wider than that. We'll see when we get into it. Down here we got a pretty good splay, but we got a crotch this way and then our actual crotch. So we're gonna cut with the crotch as always around here. Other than the crotch in there though, I don't see anything too crazy. Looks like there's another kind of limb coming up down here. So we're gonna have some kind of bullseye action with some crotch as we get into this little area here and as we get down into there. So I think what we'll do, I'll probably end up cutting this one into slabs the same time as I cut this one into slabs. So this one, nothing super crazy going on here either. We got a old crotch here that was kind of healed up. It was pruned at some point, so that should have some kind of figure right in here. But otherwise, oh, there's another limb over here. Another old limb. So it should be kind of a straight grain crotchy log, and then we'll cut this one here second since they're separate since it's full of metal. I'm gonna run through and get a nice flat cut on the crotch log, and then we'll probably set it aside and get a flat cut established on the other log and kind of go from there. So time to get sawing on this thing. Oh yeah, there's wood in there. Oh, I got some cool stuff going on here above where this old limb used to be. So here's what we have down here. Pretty clear and straight grain. Up here we start getting into some of the kind of goofier things. We got this kind of weird bark inclusion thing, and we have a little bit of rot staining through here from that limb being open. But this is looking pretty good. I think I have enough flatness on here now, so I'm gonna take this log and set it aside, and we'll get the other one up onto the saw. All right, this one's trying to wiggle around on me, so I think that's going to be enough of a flattening cut to get this thing sitting down on the bed. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this thing over and get the other log back up here. Cookie. Okay, so on the crotch log, we're just now into the meat, finally. That one's actually a little smaller than I thought it was gonna be. This guy here looked bigger than it, but apparently this guy is quite a bit bigger. Ooh, that's nice. So this is some actually pretty clear looking stuff. We are getting some kind of crotch figure going on over on this side now, which is kind of fun, but everything else is fairly clear except for this one knot here. This is promising. All right, one more cut to go. I'm cutting these at kind of a heavy 8/4 today. see what we got going on here. Got some crotch going on here, that's what's for sure. Get this out of here. Pretty. I don't expect a whole lot out of that crotch one so far because we're still kind of towards the outside of the log. Oh, looks like there's some kind of fun swirly grain patterns here, which is nice. So here's our, we're getting into some crotch figure from this limb that's coming up here, and then we got the crotch figure down here ready that is starting to present itself. And we got a little bit of ray fleck in there. So as I mentioned, there's a little bit of kind of swirlier grain down here, but otherwise pretty straight white oak. Oh, we're starting to get some crotch figure in both of these now. And a leaf. Some gorgeous stuff. Oh yeah. So we got some nice stuff going on there. A little bit of like a rot stain kind of thing going on here. This was pruned and the tree grew around that, so that's a cool feature as well. And we're starting to get into some traditional crotch figure down here a little bit. It's looking good. Oh, ho. Yeah, crotch is getting good. Let's take a look at these guys. I know there's some actual crotch figures starting to show on that guy. This one is presenting some more kind of rot stuff around the old limb. So we have some ray fleck coming through here. A little bit of that paired with the crotch. Very cool looking piece of wood, that's for sure. This guy, there's our kind of rot infiltration here. And you can see this pruning cut all sealed back up. That's awesome. And then we're down to kind of clear-ish stuff down in here. Okay, I think we're through a lot of the actual crotch figure. Now we have some just fun grain down here. Yeah, just fun swirly patterns. And this over here, we're almost all the way through the little bit of rot stain. And we're just basically into, there's nothing going on over here, just clear white oak. So we have this fun swirly grain through here, and then down through here we're quarter sawn. So we have some pretty nice looking ray fleck on the left and right of the pith area. And then, like I was saying, on this one we have just that little bit of rot stain left, and then we're just clear all the way down here. So now we're going to be back into sort of a flat sawn, plain sawn kind of orientation. Start seeing some more sapwood kind of poking through here along the edges. So we're almost back to the outside of the log. This one's like completely clear. It's nice. We've got a cool like sapwood circle thing here in the middle. And we're through, completely through most all the crotch figure. We have the remnants of the crazy grain, and over here on this thing, it's just clear white oak. Nothing going on there. That's kind of cool. Where the sapwood swoops in from this limb here. So now we're like really out there. There's like nothing here on this one. That's just mostly bark. But this one has a little bit of figure around this knot up here, which is kind of fun. Otherwise though, not a whole lot going on here either. So some fun stuff going on up here. And you got some rot staining here from this old limb, and this is pretty much all just clear down in here. And then here's that first piece that we trimmed off. So let's see what the heck's inside of here. I'll pull these this tag off and those nails wherever they were. We'll pull these out because they're on the outside, and then we'll see what kind of crazy stuff is inside this log. So on this tag is the tree company that was, I guess, taking care of this tree at some point, and that's probably their ID number for this tree. So a little bit of stuff in this log so far. Still curious what this big stain is. These stains are from the nails that I just pulled, and then these got to be something else down there. There's nothing. Oh, there's a little dot right there on this side, so maybe there was something up here in this section of the tree, but there's nothing over here, so pretty reasonable to assume that all that staining is from something contained in this section here. So we'll see. I think what we'll do is just come in somewhere around here and get a nice flat cut on there. Oh, this is actually a lot more stable than I thought it was going to be. So, well, we'll see. Let me get cutting, and maybe I'll whittle it down a little bit before we actually flip it over. Looks like we clipped the nail on that one, but that's enough of a flattening area that I can roll this thing over. I pulled a couple of 4/4 boards off the top. These have some pretty fun grain. Kind of weird stuff going on there. And if we come around here, we got this nail here. No big deal. But it does cause quite a bit of blue stain, that's for sure. I haven't hit anything yet. Well, anything that's gonna stop me at least. Got a couple more cuts left. Well, this thing was a little less eventful than I kind of figured it was. Thought there'd be something a bit bigger in there that maybe would have complicated things a little bit, but doesn't seem like it. If there was, the saw didn't notice it. Doesn't look like there's a lot going on with this first one. Yeah, you know, it's some kind of straight grain white oak with some rot stain up here. Nothing super crazy. This is kind of similar to the rot staining on that last one. Where's all the nails? Yeah, this is cool. We're starting to get some figure in here. So sort of some straight grain stuff down here, and we're getting a bit of figure peeking in under here, some compression figure from this limb here. I think it's pretty cool though, mixed with that rot stain throughout here. It's got a really cool color palette. This is the middle of that big stain. Where are these nails? But still some nice kind of interspersed rot stain, which is fun. We got the blue stain in here though. So we got some nice blue stain down there in the end. And then we have some more figure and stuff through there. I don't know, I'm kind of liking this crazy staining down here. We got a little bit of figure up here from that crotch. Oh, yeah, this is cool. We got some compression figure up in here. We got this cool rot stain, and then we got the Rayflex throughout the whole rest of the slab. So all the way down here, we have all the Rayflex. They were all quarter sawn through here and right back up here again. Some more old baby Rayflex, and we got some curl going on there. And then down here, more Rayflex. Boop, 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 boop. I like this, like a starburst pattern coming out here. All right, we found some nails. We got a pair of them right there. And that is some very vivid blue. These are cool. Yeah, there's some small nails, nothing crazy. But it's very crazy though how much staining something so small can cause. So there are the two nails over there. Not super big at all, pretty small. Okay, this one's got a few more. Well, it's got the two that we cut through already. They got cut through again. And I saw another one out towards the edge here. So we got some pretty cool stain here. Nothing in this slab though. There are the two nails again, and there is the head of probably one of these guys right there. So we clipped just a little bit of the head. We got these two ones there, and that's it for this guy. A little more rot stain through the middle of this thing. Okay, check out what I just noticed. I found the cause of all the staining way up here. So that's the nail we hit in the beginning. But if you swing around to this side where that nail is, look at what has revealed itself in the bark. We have a nail head here, a nail head here, and a nail head here. So, and that used to be one as well. So there are four in this one little spot here. So this is probably like a tree house or something at some point. I don't know. Missed all those though. That's pretty cool. All right, there we go. One white oak crotch, all cut up. All right, so I'm gonna get things banded up and kind of organized with these three logs, and then we'll go and see what's going on with those pieces of ash. So I think we'll do something similar with this. I'll get these prepped separately and then we'll put them both together on the saw and cut them at the same time. Especially with this one because it's got a crazy taper to it. The butt flare on here is pretty darn huge. I have it down between the bunks right now, which is taking some of that out, but this side has to come up quite a bit. So I'm going to get the little baby skid steer thing over here and adjust this log a little bit, get it somewhat more level, and then kind of get to work. You can see how much smaller it is on that end than it is on that end. So that's quite a bit better. First cut, I think we're gonna come in here around 27 or something. We'll see. Somewhere in that area. All right, this one's gonna take a little bit of adjusting. It's kind of all over the place. Actually, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's make our cut. Oof, that's heavy. So that's it's probably going to be a good start for this guy as well. So I'm going to get this one off the saw, flipped over, and I'll throw the other log on the bed with it as well. It'll be time to do some more sawing. Well, that's a nice full bed. Let's start whittling these things down. Now I'm just going to cut these at 10/4 because I have no idea what I'm going to do with these. So that gives me a bit of flexibility. So this is very similar to the setup that I did with the wood that became the dressing vanity and the serpentine chest. I had kind of a top section that was slabs, and I turned the bottom section into boards, but this thing's got some curve in it anyway, so I'm just going to turn it into 10/4. If I want to cut into boards, I can resaw it later. That's not a huge deal. So kind of the same setup. The base area should be pretty clear, and then the top section should have all the crazy figure things. So I think a lot of this stuff is going to be kind of the same, especially the kind of the base of the tree here. It's probably going to be very clear. All the interesting stuff is probably going to happen in this crotch log up here. Yep. We got something for everybody here. We got clear and straight for the traditionalists and wild and crazy for the people that like wild and crazy. So we're starting to get into a little bit of the crotch figure here with this guy, and this guy here is mostly sapwood. And you got little dashes of heartwood here with some nice figure up top. This is what I expect most of this log to be like. Fairly straight grain. So I may have been mistaken, and I'm kind of pleasantly happy about that. The bigger log looks like it actually has a little more going on than I was anticipating. Yeah, so not totally straight grain. We got some really fun crotch figure. Get those out of there. We got some really fun crotch figure through here with other kind of knots with some figure around them through here. What's most interesting is we got some blue stains. So there's probably some embedded thing somewhere, or whatever was in here was removed. But then as we get down here, we have even more kind of wild and crazy figure too. Getting some more crotch figure on this guy. A leaf. So a little more crotch figure here. And look at all this. All figure through here. Beautiful stuff. I think these are getting a little bit better. They keep getting better or something. And these actually look a lot bigger as slabs than they did as logs. As logs, they looked quite a bit smaller than this. Like, I'm actually kind of surprised at how big these things are. Let me get some look at some width measurements here real quick. So the base log, it's got a pretty good taper on it. Let's see, we're at 25 inches down here. I think this is gonna be like the widest one too. And then before it transitions up here, we're at 21. So not too much taper through here, but once we get to this point, it starts to taper pretty heavily. We're at 19, and then we finish out at 19. So pretty straight through here for 4 feet. And then whether that is like 6 feet is fairly consistent width too. So this one should be 19 because that's where I cut that off. So it starts at 19, and before it starts kind of swelling here, 20. So this one kind of goes the other way. At the widest here, we're at 36. So pretty good sized slabs in all reality. It's crazy how much, I guess, perception of size changes. Because these looked a lot smaller on the ground. So there's the crotch. About 3 feet of crotch figure or so, which is pretty good. We got some more crazy stuff happening here from this old limb. And you can see it was closing back up. I always love seeing that. And this guy, fairly clear here towards the bottom. We got some old limb that was pruned with some crotch figure, or just figure in general. Some more figure above that knot right there. Some more figure above and below this one. You can see all this stuff. And then that's like a hole with a bit of figure around it. I haven't cut ash in like years. It's a beautiful, it's beautiful. I forgot how much figure this stuff gets around, limbs and knots and stuff. Oh, that's a lot of crotch. All right, right, let's see what kind of crazy stuff we have this time. And do 4 here. All right, starting over here, we got this one's getting back to being clear again, at least through the thick area, and we start getting in some knots and things that produce some kind of fun figure here and there. But coming over to the crotch section, you got little bits of figure as you go up, and then this huge monstrosity. That is a lot of crotch figure. Like how wide it is. It's like girthy. It's big. Come around, look at this guy. Kind of the same kind of thing. You got very dispersed figure, which is incredible. Some knots and things down here, but or I guess only one right there, and then it starts clearing up a bit, getting quite a bit of sapwood coming in here now. Same kind of deal here with the big one. A lot more sapwood coming in. It's looking good though. So since we're kind of on the outside of things now, there's not really a whole lot going on. We've got some bullseye things going on down here on this guy, and this is basically a sapwood. So a couple bullseye kind of pattern things going on here. Otherwise, just simple straight grain. We got about 8 inches of width here, and this is also just straight grain-ish sapwood coming up into some bark. So that is it for these two. So I'm pretty sure every time I cut things that I think are small, they end up being quite a bit bigger than I anticipated, because that's just apparently how my brain works now. So these and the white oak, even that thing, that's quite a bit bigger than I thought it was going to be when it was just, you know, in log form. So I guess that'll be a continuous, constant theme around here. Mad underestimating the size of things. They get bigger once they're cut up and off the saw, I guess, or something like that. So, I don't know, it's just kind of cool. One thing I love about this kind of stuff is the fact that this hasn't traveled like that far to this point, and it probably won't from this point either. So it's like this cool, like locally sourced kind of thing. Like literally just drove down the road and picked these things up, and now they're here, and someday they'll get used for something probably here too. So just a really cool, I guess, story with this stuff. So thank you to my neighbors who saved this stuff from being hauled away to wherever they haul stuff, the chipper site or the grinder site or whatever. So that's going to do it for this one. Thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on the sawmill or anything back in the shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.